Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the Leaf Garden. It's the end of April today, so I thought I'd give you a tour of my garden to show you what has been going on in terms of prepping the beds for flower plants and also for the vegetable plants. There has been a lot of changes, so I'm sure you will enjoy the video. Yeah, let's take you around. Here's my flower border, flower bed one. This is a very small flower bed right outside my kitchen door. Over the last month, all the tulips came through. Now it's in full bloom. I don't think it's gonna last that long. Probably we have another couple of 1 week or maximum 2 weeks, and then tulips will be gone. I have planted some shrubs in this border already. So this is a Nandina. It's doing well. I have some halibus in here. They've been doing very well. They've been flowering as well. I didn't expect them to flower this year, but looks like they have. I have some daffodils as well around the borders, and together with different varieties of tulips. I have in here is the magnolia. So you saw in the last update video that it didn't have any leaves. It started to grow now. The day I have planted some sweet alyssum in here in this bed, just there. This is one of my favorite flower, sweet alyssum. So hopefully this will bush up and produce very tiny small flowers that are attractive to pollinators, and also they smell really nice. We are at my flower bed number 2. So again, I planted some white tulips and different varieties of tulips along the borders. Together with tulip, I have some daffodils in here as well, and they are in full bloom. They're looking really nice. I have few shrubs in this border as well. So I have another Nandina in here. This is a Daphne. This has been in bloom, but this is very small, very much small. So it's gonna take, I think, a couple of years for this to settle, become established. I have a gardenia in here. It's been all right. I'm a little bit concerned about the yellowing of the leaves, so I'm not sure if this is some sort of nutrient deficiencies. I'll give it another few more weeks until the end of May, and if it still show the yellow signage, I'll probably start feeding it. This is a shrub called Forsythia. Also planted some annuals in this flower bed. So these are Antherinum. These I did start from seed. Of some sweet alyssum in here as well. These were transplanted about a week ago. So in this border I have these annual known as bells of Ireland. So I've planted 3 of these in this border. Of course I have the halibus in here in this border as well. This is a shrub, Abelia. Again, not much growth over the last month. It will pick up eventually. I have some more of the Antherinum in here. This is a star jasmine. So I have a couple of them in here. So one of in here and then another one just in here. And then this one is a mock orange. This is very interesting shrub. It will produce flowers that are very much smells like orange, so that's why the name mock orange. I also planted some sweet peas in this border, but they're not looking that great. This is because of the spike in temperature that we had recently. The sweet peas doesn't like very hot temperature, so I think that's why. Next to the flower bed too, I also planted some buddleia in here. So this is buddleia plant number one. Then I have a second one in here and the third one in here. Buddleia usually grows very fast once the temperature starts to pick up, gets warmer. These has not been planted very long. I think I've put them on the ground last week, so that's why they're still just recovering from the transplant. But they will get going very soon. So this is my raised bed 1 and 2. Both of these raised beds are the longest in my garden, so they're 4 feet by 16 feet. Let's show you what I have going in my raised bed. In this raised bed, you can see I've already installed the drip irrigations, um, which I've tested, and they are working quite well. I plan to grow tomatoes, bottle gourds in this raised bed, but I have about 3-4 weeks ago I planted some leafy greens in this bed. They are doing well. You can see some mustards in here, some red mustards, and then I have some green mustards in here, but the green ones, I believe they are starting to bolt, which means they're producing flowers, which is not great. So I don't know, I'm just gonna harvest them anyway because the time for putting in the tomatoes and bringing out the bottle gourds are nearly there. So it's okay if they go into bolt, that's fine. I will just harvest them. There are some weeds in this bed, so I need to clear the weeds. Here you can see I have quite a lot of containers in here. So previously I used to grow all my chilies in the containers, but this year I plan to grow all of my chilies, maybe few of them still in the containers, but majority of them in the second raised bed. I'm growing 2 varieties of potatoes this year. One variety is called Charlotte, and another variety is, I think, Desiree. The potatoes haven't come through yet. Maybe one. Okay, so these, there you go. There's the potato shoots coming out. Okay, but they will start to come through. The idea is if I harvest potatoes from one bucket every 2 weeks, this should last me a year. Hopefully the harvest will be good. I have grown potatoes probably in 2020. I grew one container, which was okay. It was from store-bought potatoes, so it wasn't seed potatoes. So harvest was okay-ish, but not that great. So that's the raised bed 1. You've seen in my previous videos how I installed my rainwater collection system. So this has been working really great. I collect all of the water that fall on top of my shed, and these 2 1000 liter each IBC tanks is now full of water, and this has been really useful. I haven't connected the drip irrigation system to the tap, but I will be doing it very soon. I've also completed the trellis that I will be using for my tomatoes and bottle gourds. So this is looking really good. I bought some tomato hooks that you may be familiar with. So the plan is I will be transplanting the tomatoes in the front of this border and then growing them upward single stem. So that's the plan. And then my bottle gourds will be at the back of this raised bed, and they will just be grown over the top of the trellis. Here's my raised bed number 2. There is some leafy greens that are growing in these beds, but half of this is empty. I've planted some plum lettuce in here. They're not doing very well. These are lettuces all year round variety. They've started to pick up now. So I have a couple of rows of these lettuce all year round variety. And then these are spinach variety known as America. I haven't grown this variety before. I just saw the picture on the seed packet, and the leaves looked really thick and crispy, which I like. So I thought I'll just give it a go. These spinach seedlings were actually my second sowing. but the first early sowing are here and they have been doing quite well. These are more lettuces. This variety is called Gustavo. This is quite nice. This has been doing quite well in here. You can see I have some weeds in between, but this is normal because these beds are really new. So as I said before, I will have to just keep digging those weeds out whenever I can. There are some pak choys. They are probably ready to harvest now. These are really good for stir fries and stuff like that. The plan for this border is to grow chilies in this border. So I will be harvesting all those leafy greens and I will transplant probably about 30 chili plants in here, but we'll see. Okay, let's take you to my main flower bed. That's my main flower bed. So this is a shrub. This is an evergreen shrub, which you saw in the last video. There wasn't much foliage in here, so it has picked up the growth. It's doing well. One honeysuckle in here. It hasn't grown much this month, so it's a trailing plant. This is a Euonymus europus. I have some fennels planted in here a couple of weeks back. They are doing well. Here are some delphinium that I did start from seed. Planted 5 in this batch. Very interested to see how they will turn out. This is a rose plant. I did buy them from one of the high street shops. I bought them bare root, so they're doing well. Weigelia put up quite a lot of growth. I can also see some flower buds in here. This will soon go into flower, I think. This is a redbuck dogwood. I have some foxgloves at the back, so you can see here, these are foxgloves that I grew from seed. They have been multi-sown and I didn't separate them, so I just kept it as a bunch and see how they do. Here's I have another variety of rose. Should have 2 more roses in there. They're different colors, different varieties. So there's one. Some perennial flowers I put in this border as well in this section. So these are coreopsis. Again, I grew them from seeds. So I planted 7 coreopsis in this section. They've been transplanted probably about 8-9 days ago. There's another shrub. Planted some dahlias. I don't know if you can see the shoot. They've just started to come up. So these dahlia I grew last year. They were in a container. Dahlia is one of my favorite flower, so I've just taken them out of the container and transplanted in here. Hopefully they will do well. This is a Weigela, another Weigela in here. So I have several. I think I have about 4 or 5 Weigela dotted all around the garden. Some more bells of Ireland. These are annuals. Some raspberries. I didn't plant them. They were planted by the previous owner. I took quite a lot of raspberry bushes out. It takes a bit of effort to get rid of raspberries once, especially the established bushes. This is a rhododendron, I think Incara variety. Here is another section where I've planted a few fennel, probably about 7 fennel plants, and they're doing quite well. I have another dahlia in here. This patch here I have planted some sunflowers. So these are dwarf sunflower variety and transplanted probably about, again, 9 or 10 days ago. There are some foxgloves in here. This is a deciduous shrub, so in the last video you probably seen that he didn't have any leaves. So this shrub is actually quite interesting because it produces this purple colored leaf. I have some delphinium in here as well. There's another Euonymus europus shrub. There's another shrub that I've put in, and yeah, I bought in as bare root shade plant, and this is doing really well as well. So this is a spirea. Transplanted some poppies in here, so I think these will produce poppies that are red. So this section has 5 poppies in here, and then I have another 7 poppies in this section. This is another shrub that you saw in the last video as well. This has again started to grow. I have a spider web in here that is not doing very well. I did transplant some pampas grass, but I don't know, it seems like, I'm not sure if it's dead or still alive, because I don't see any growth in this. I'm just still waiting, because some of those grasses and deciduous plants, they take quite a while to come up. Here are my fruit trees that have been in full bloom. Well, one of them has been in full bloom, the other one just started to the buds, the shoots just starting to come up now, but this one has been in full bloom. I have a Mahonia in here, started to produce some fresh leaves as well. So going across, these are my main vegetable growing area. I have put in some trellises in here. These are lean-to trellises. These I made probably about 3 days ago, and I haven't yet put in I haven't decided what to put in between those support beams, so they're still empty. I'll probably I'm thinking about putting some chicken wires across these trellises, or maybe some galvanized wire mesh. Raised bed 3, this is still empty. Again, I will be transplanting my summer vegetables in this bed. I've installed the drip irrigation already in this bed, but this is not yet connected. Raised bed 4, again this is empty. You can see a lot of weeds in here. These are perennial weeds that will come up during this time of the year. I'll just have to clear this again by hand. Raised bed 5, I have planted some brassicas. They are doing well. So I planted in this bed some Calette. You may know this is a cross between Brussels sprout and kale, and this produces very nutritious leafy vegetable. I've also planted some Brussels sprouts along and red cabbages. These are Brussels sprouts. Another line of Calettes. Some beetroots, Barpi's golden variety in here. This is a red cabbage, and I think I have some rose plants in here. Not sure, that's why I think these are rose. Not that probably was planted by previous owner, but I'll have to just wait and see. I'm not sure yet. That's why I haven't taken them out. So this is a fruit tree that has been in full bloom. So this is raised bed 6. I have planted some leafy vegetables in this bed, and I have already harvested a few lettuces from this bed. Some lettuces, all year round variety. I did plant some mustard and pak choys in this bed as well, so I've harvested some of the pak choys already. Here I have another variety of lettuce. This variety is known as salad bowl, and this variety has done really well. So on this side of my garden, I have another Weigela in here. This is Schema. This produces flowers that are fragrant as well. But yeah, it's gonna take some time for these plants to get established. A couple of more fruit trees in here. So we are at raised bed 7 now. So in this raised bed, I have some onions that are doing really well in here. These were planted probably about 9-10 days ago. I have some leafy greens in this side as well. I have some Brussels sprout and some cabbages in here. So this is raised bed 8. I haven't planted anything yet on this one. As you can see, this is still covered to kill any weeds that might be coming through. And this is the raised bed 9. Again, this is also covered, nothing planted on this yet. I will probably take the cover off very soon, by the end of this week. Raised bed 10. This was the one that I started before any other raised beds. So this, when I say started, I planted. So there are some radish that I've planted and harvested. There's some also leafy greens, some lettuces in this bed. You might be wondering why I am putting the fleeces on top. When I am transplanting seedlings directly from my greenhouse, putting the fleece on gives a little bit of protection to the plants, and plant doesn't get stunted. It just keeps the temperature inside the fleece 1.5 degree warmer, which is really helpful to the plants. So these are radishes, French breakfast variety. I have harvested some radishes from here. More radishes in here. These are white muli variety. So in Bangladesh we call it mula, right? So these are really nice with fish. So I have sown some more seeds of this radish variety, and I will be succession sowing some red mustard, giant red mustards in here. The plants are looking really good as well. I'll be able to harvest some leaves soon. The lettuces, so these are lettuces, all year round variety. They grow very fast. In between you can see some mints in here. So these are volunteers. I didn't plant the mints in here. um, I think what happened was that I used some old compost where they were growing mint. I cleared the mint as much as I could, but I think they were still they've still managed to regrow from the leftover roots. So but that's fine, I don't mind. I like mint. So in this section of my flower border, I have some ground covers in here. I have sown some Japanese spinach and some other leafy vegetables in here recently. I can't see anything coming out yet. This is a hydrangea paniculata variety. It's just waking up now. Here I have planted some more red cabbages along this side of the border and interplanted with some mustards. This is a Mahonia. This the growth of this on this started to pick up as well. You can see the fresh new leaves coming out. Some Japanese fern in here. I have 3 of them, and these are looking really healthy, and they've started to produce new leaves. Here I have my strawberry patch. So strawberry plants are doing really well. I have interplanted some onions as well. Strawberries there, some of them are actually flowering, so I think these are one of the early varieties, so it'll be interesting to see. My onions, some are salad onions, so these are salad onions. The other variety that you've seen on this side, these are actually proper bulbing onions, but these here are salad onions. You can see some strawberry plants started to flower. So this is a shrub. Again, I think this is Euonymus alatus, and this is growing very nicely. Now we're behind my greenhouse. So here I have some coriander that are growing really nicely. This variety is, I think, called confetti. The leaves are slightly different than your normal coriander variety. So these are the one that we buy from shop. It has much wider leaves. These are all coriander. This is a fig tree, and yeah, it's producing new leaves as well. Some squash plants that I've started, I've just left in here for hardening off. Started some more pak choys. This is pointed gourd, or we call potol in Bengali. Some zinnia plants in here. So these are flower plants, and some cosmos that are being hardened off. Some more corianders in here as well. So going around inside my greenhouse, this is a shrub. You can see the name in here. It's Epieris. This requires acidic soil, so that's why I kept it in container. In this border, so this border you didn't actually see in the last update video. This one I made mainly for planting herbs, but I do have some shrubs in this border as well. There's one shrub, there's one flowering shrub as well. This is Edgeworthsia, but I have planted some lavenders. So these are lavenders here, rosemary, a couple of rosemaries that are doing really well. And then I have this is a tree called tamarix, and some more lavenders in here. A couple of bamboo plants in here as well. So let's show you how my fruit trees are doing. So I have several. So you've already seen some of the fruit trees, but I have also planted some new fruit trees this year. These I bought bare rooted. So here's one. You can see the new shoots coming through. This is a apple tree, Gala variety. These are interesting. These are not fruit tree, obviously. These are I think all of you who are keen gardener will recognize it. This is comfrey. I have planted some comfrey plants along this line. The plan is to use those leaves to make natural fertilizer to use throughout my garden. Here's another fruit tree, and this is a pear tree, and this will produce fruit, I think, during the autumn. This is the plum tree, and this is doing well as well. This is an apple tree. Which variety? Legal or legal? I don't know how to pronounce this. And this is another plum tree. I think the variety is Stanley. But yeah, so you can see I have probably about 7 or 8 comfrey plants as well, next to my fruit trees. So there's another one, there's another comfrey. They're very good to make fertilizers. Right, so more coriander. I have some hostas that I have kept in the pots, so they have started to come through now. There are some hostas in here in those 3 pots. Yeah, this here is lemon balm. This was I planted this couple of years back. This is a perennial, so every year just comes through. And here's what's going on in my greenhouse. I'm not going to go into much details about what I have going in the greenhouse, but here you can see there's a lot of things I have kept in the greenhouse, mainly bottle gourds, chili plants, and a lot of vegetables, leafy greens. Tomatoes are there as well. I have more tomatoes inside my house, but these are just basically hardening them off in here as well. I have some more flowering plants in here as well. There you go. That's the end of April tour of my garden. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and I see you in the next one. Assalamu alaikum.